ngovira kwezuva ranhasi chete inini ndisina mari dzangu, I don't think you will like zvamchose zvandichaita, nekuti ndichiri kuplana kuti ndiite sei, handisati ndafunga. Asi mukaita laki zvenyu, mukaita laki ndichaenda kumapurisa, munenge maita laki.
It's been 1 year now since I left Zimbabwe to come back to the United Kingdom. And throughout this time, I've had enough time to sit down, reflect, and think about all the things that went wrong and how I could improve them. So this video is about all the mistakes I did and what I've learned from my idea of trying to relocate back to Zimbabwe and set up something that could generate income for my retirement. So the first thing I realized that I did very wrong was terminology. I went into this saying I wanted to go into farming. I wanted to be a farmer. And I was looking at it more like a business. But now, when I look back, I realized that there's a difference between a hobby and real farming. Yes, you can start in stages and say, I'm going to start with a small number of chickens, or I'm starting with a small piece of land and then gradually grow. But if it is going to be a business, then we're talking about large scale. Secondly, when I was talking about I'm going into the farming business, that was actually wrong because I don't have all the ingredients to make the business be called a business. What do I mean by that? A business has to have things like branding and marketing in place. It needs to have management in place. It needs to have leadership. It needs to have a sound team in place. It also needs systems. So when I look back now, did I have those things? Absolutely not. So can I really call that a business? No. Can I really say I've tried so hard and I've failed? I mean, to a degree, I can say that, but I'm trying hard on something that does not have a solid foundation. So this has made me realize that I should not be too hard on myself because I've spent tens of thousands on a business, or in this case, farming, but there wasn't really a strong foundation. It didn't have the right ingredients for this to actually work. Secondly, I also realized that there's a massive difference between real farming and a hobby. Now, let me just give you a few figures here. If you wanted to do broilers and to be considered as someone who's doing a real business, you need to be doing at least 10,000 birds. So I want to use a figure which is half that. So if you wanted to go into broilers and do it as a business, let's say you want to start off with 5,000 birds. Do you know that costs of just running that cycle of 5,000 birds is $25,000 US? Now, I know some of us in the diaspora, of course, I don't know everyone's pocket, but for me, 25,000 for 5,000 chickens, I know the profit might be good at the end of it, but that's a bit of a steep one. And in terms of risk, very few people, even if they've saved 25,000, would say, hey, you know what, here's my 25,000, let me go into this. Especially the way I did it, where I don't have the right workers and the right systems in place and so on. So what we tend to do, we start saying, I'm going to start with 100, I'm going to start with the 200, and then we call ourselves farmers. Now, that in itself can come with a lot of disappointments because the profits you get from selling 200 broilers is, okay, let me put it this way. It's okay if you want to use that profit hand to mouth, you're paying a bit of school fees here, you're putting a bit of fuel in your car and so on, it's maintaining your lifestyle, which is a basic lifestyle. It's fine. I'm not speaking down upon anyone who's doing those kind of numbers, but I'm saying if you're going to call it a business, we have to be talking about these thousands. If you're going to be saying, you know what, I need to go into real farming and you're going into horticulture, we have to be talking about hectares, not a back garden. And these numbers and these sizes needs expertise. You cannot go along and try to do this by watching YouTube videos. It is not going to work. And that is where I made a big mistake. Yes, I was inspired by Dr. Daniel's Farm Up. But then again, when I looked back, I was saying, okay, I'm inspired. But when I look at his numbers, the flock that he had, we're talking about tens of thousands. That's a real business. What I had was, yes, I had a few ingredients here and there. I had the incubator, blah, 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 but it wasn't a real established business. And looking back, The moment I realized that this was not an established business was when I got a customer that wanted 20 birds per week. And then I realized, wow, in a year, that's a lot of birds. And I need to have a backup plan where I have some birds growing as well, these roadrunners, also following up. When these finish, I have these coming through. So I would need to have thousands of these roadrunners for me to sustain 20 per week. And bear in mind that 20 per week, I also need to feed them. And these are big birds and they feed a lot. I would need to maintain those numbers. I would need to be buying feed. I need to be paying workers. I need to be making sure everything is running okay. And I realized very quickly that on paper, it seemed okay, but in reality, I could not meet those numbers. So I had to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, I've realized now that I cannot meet these numbers. Well, where is the money being made? And then I realized that, okay, the money is being made on selling chicks and also selling the eggs, fertilized eggs. Well, that's fine. When it comes to even the horticulture, same thing. You need to grow on hectares. So in my case, I was aiming too low and trying to hit and then celebrate. But the amount of money that goes into these type of projects is a lot. It's a lot of money. We're talking about tens of thousands. And individually, if we try to do this individually, it's going to be very, very, very difficult. The other thing that I also realized when now that I've sat down and I started looking at the whole bigger picture in a relaxed environment, I realized as well that the type of workers that I was getting were not quality workers. I know it sounds bad speaking like that, as I mean to fellow human beings, but I was just being given referrals. I know someone who can do chickens. He's from Ruwa. I know someone who can do this. He's from that place. I did not do extra research to find out if they had a proper background in raising these chickens. So when I get frustrated now that I've been trying to do these broilers for over 5-6 months and it hasn't worked, it may seem like I'm just ranting. But at the same time, when I look back, how can I be spending thousands every month, feed workers, buying the chicks, and all of that, and yet I'm not dealing with professionals? In fact, I'll tell you a quick story that happened recently. It's crazy. Remember, I mentioned that I was starting with small batches of 200 just to see how it goes and then expand from that. Well, I spoke to a friend of mine and he said, look, I can get you people that can work, trustworthy people, and these people that I know. And I said, well, fair enough. This time I'm getting a referral from someone that I know. So the first person that came, he came through and he said to me, well, you know what? I have a lot of experience, raising these chickens. I was working in Botswana and I really love this job and you're going to see wonders. I'm going to do a fantastic job for you. So I went in with my heart, emotions. And I said, you know what? Let me help the guy. If he helps my business grow slowly, I can expand and employ more people. But I needed to start with these small batches. So he started working. By the way, he's the same guy who I gave him a task to water my moringa trees, and he didn't report that there were more than 15 trees that died. The same guy. But anyway, I'm just mentioning this so I can give you context. So this guy is working. Is giving too many excuses. The birds are like this, the birds. I even made a video and I came and I said, you know what? Why is it my birds, they're stuck at 1.2 kgs? I'm buying the right breed. I'm buying the feed. Everything is in place, but I'm stuck at 1.2 kilos. I actually did a video about it because I couldn't work out what the issue was. Because when this guy came in, I just took his word because he said he's done it in Botswana and he's very happy to work, and he also wants to help his family. And I was like, okay, cool. Put the cameras on and I could monitor. And when I was monitoring the cameras, I realized that, you know what? This guy seems genuine. He's not stealing the feed. He's not stealing the chickens. So I sort of relaxed. My guard was down. So all these months, these 5 months, although the chickens that were being produced were small, we were selling them at $3. We're not even making a profit because sometimes we'll try and feed these chickens extra feed. Would go into 7 weeks, 8 weeks, but the chickens will still be small. And we end up selling them for $3, and but you're not making any profits. So I was making sure I was paying his salary, and in our agreement, we were paying them the salary, and that was it. But we went an extra step and started buying them groceries every month. So, on my side, in my head, I'm thinking, well, I'm sure this guy is going to appreciate it. We're buying him extra things, we're buying him groceries, and sometimes when people visit the farm, they take bread with them and so on. And I thought, maybe we're doing a good thing for him. So after about a week, I wanted a guard to work there as well. So again, I told my friend, hey, you know what? I need another guard. I need a guard, who could take care of the place at night, because sometimes we need someone to make sure that we don't have thieves coming in, and also we need someone who can make sure that the brooder has constant temperatures and the chicks are being fed. So this time, this friend of mine, he recommends his own brother. Think about it. He recommends his own brother. So I'm like, wow, it's all good. This is his own brother. Everything is all good. Anyway, the guy comes. We made sure he had, those walkie-talkie radios. He had the uniforms, the boots, the whistle, the light, the flashlight. Everything is all good. He's working. So the first month I was patient. I said, okay, the chickens are small, no problem. Second month, okay, let's keep trying. Third month, I kept on trying, putting in the money, but no profits. Fourth month, I was like, hey, this is getting difficult now. At least we're supposed to be making profits from this so we can increase the numbers of the batches. It wasn't happening. Fifth month, I sat down with the guys. I had a meeting with them. I said, listen, this is the last batch. If we don't get the right numbers, the right weights, then I'm afraid you have to wait until we sell these chickens, and that's where your salary is going to come from. So they agreed to that. So here we are. And I was helping them as well, because I contacted a few people, vets who had a lot of experience. So this guy was giving me so many things to work with. He said, look, you need to make sure you fumigate. Hygiene is very important. Make sure the bedding is all cleared. And I need reports. Weigh those chicks as soon as they arrive. After a week, you need to weigh them as well. So I told the guys on the ground, this is the way forward. This is a do or die situation. If we can't do these things that we are being told by professionals to do, then we're going to be in big trouble. I even bought some probiotics for the chickens to help them with the digestion and everything, because it helps the chickens grow as well. Bought all the probiotics, brought everything. So I'm asking, reports. I need to report back to the vet. Where are the reports? No, I didn't have airtime. They started acting all confused. Like, I'm asking for something so basic, right? But they're acting all confused. So I'm getting frustrated, but at the same time, I'm like, anyway, let's see how far we go. So when it was time for them to get paid, this was supposed to be on the 7th of this month. They said, so salaries. I said, well, you produced chickens that were below 1.5 kgs. That's number one. Number two, we asked for the reports. The reports didn't come through. So you are going to get paid, but you have to wait until we sell the batch that you produced. So you just have to be patient. So the chickens were being sold. I didn't advertise them on this website on this channel, because the sizes were not right. And I didn't want to sell you guys a product that I know is not very good, because I need to maintain my reputation. I also need to make sure that you guys are getting a high quality product. So I didn't advertise them. So anyway, it took about 2 weeks. About a week and a few days for these chickens to be sold. So their salary was available. So this guy, the first guy who got the job now, he was calling me. Hey, what's the situation with the money? I was like, yeah, the money is on the way. It's almost enough now. So just be patient. In a few days now, we're going to have your money. You're going to get paid. He said, okay. A few days ago, I get this 6-minute message. In fact, I think I can play it for you guys. 6-minute message. And this message was crazy. Let me play it for you, so at least you can hear what was being said in this message. So I get this message, and I'm saying to myself, why? What have I done? I was so moved. I was so troubled by this message.
Ndakambotaura nemi futi equals. Ndikataura kuti inini handifarire totally zvamu chose kugara ndichingotaura. Asi kana ndakutaura ndinenge ndichiitwa nemunhu kana kuti vanhu kuti nditaure. Saka ndiri kuti inini pamusoro penyaya ndinogara ndichitaura nyaya yemari. handisi kufunga kuti muchafara nezvandichaita inini zuva ranhasi rikangovira chete ndisina mari dzandaona inini, because wallahi you will see the other part of munhu, kuti munhu mamuslim mamwe acho havana kunaka. Kungovira kwezuva ranhasi chete inini ndisina mari dzangu, I don't think you will like zvamchose zvandichaita, nekuti ndichiri kuplana kuti ndiite sei, handisati ndafunga. Asi mukaita laki zvenyu, mukaita laki ndichaenda kumapurisa, munenge maita laki zviperere pakuonesana. Asi at the end inini ndoda mari, and mukaita laki.
Right. This message is about 6 minutes. 6 minutes. It goes on with the threats. It goes on with, you're going to see what I'm going to do to you. You won't like it. But of course, you know, when I'm telling you this, it may seem like it's one-sided, because obviously you need to hear the other side of the story. But I've tried to give you the context of what happened. His salary was 2 weeks late, because this time I said, no, I can't keep paying for a job that's not being done properly. I cannot continue doing that. The farm is supposed to pay for itself. At least those chickens are supposed to pay their own salaries. Why do I have to keep paying from my own pocket? So what happens now? I check the camera. The guy leaves very early in the morning, leaves the farm. So I just thought maybe just going to the shops to buy a few things. I'm looking at the time. It's now 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. The guy hasn't come back. I tried to call him. I can't get through to him. And you can imagine, this is the message that he had left for me. You're going to see what's going to happen to you in the message. So I'm trying to call him so at least we can have a conversation. I can't get through to him. So I started sending messages to him. Voice messages. Almost 6, 7 of them. Trying to remind him that, look, even though you were producing work which was at low par, after you came in saying you're a professional, you still got paid. 5 consecutive months. You paid on time. You were also given extra food. And you could not even do something so basic like producing chickens that are at least 1.7, 1.8 kgs. You can't even do that. Yet you came in as a professional. Now that your salary is too late by 2 weeks because you did not produce chickens that are very easy to sell, this is the message I'm getting now. And just to give you a bit of context as well, within these 2 weeks, we bought food for these guys to make sure that they had something to eat. We also gave them $50, which was not part of their their salary, so that they can, at least they can be comfortable while their salaries are coming. Because what I didn't want to do was to pay everything from my own pocket, so that at least they can understand that they cannot just work and expect money to come from the diaspora. They're there to work. So anyway, I made all these videos, these audios. Then I realized again what my therapist advised me. He said, look, do not respond with emotions. When instances happen, you need to stop, reflect, disengage. So I deleted all the messages. And I said to myself, let me wait and see what happens. So when I realized now it was about 4 o'clock Zimbabwean time, I asked the guy who works in the field. He's doing the horticulture. So I called him on the cameras. Please, can you go and check on the chickens? As soon as he went in there, he came back on the camera and says, nah, there's a disaster here. I said, what? What's the disaster? Chickens were dying. Chickens had no water. The chickens had no food. And right now it's hot in Zimbabwe. Chickens were dying. So I said, please, quickly, can you put water, for the chickens, and can you pour feed so they can start eating? He started doing that so fast, and I could see it on the cameras. The chickens were so hungry and so thirsty. But already some of them were dropping dead, some of them already dead. So I said, okay, put the dead ones on a pile. There were more than 10 dead chickens. 10 dead chickens as a result of this. So I thought to myself, how can someone be so cruel? Okay, fine. If you want to do something to me, that's fair enough. What about the animals? It was a very, very sad situation. So anyway, I said to the guy, okay, can you just start? And this guy who was working, I could tell that he wasn't doing the job properly because the chicken run was dirty. The bedding had not been changed. I mean, it was just a disaster. So I told the guy to, clean up, put new bedding in, give the chickens food, food, the water and everything. And then I promised that work that he was going to do at that time, I was going to give him some money towards that. So he did all that. So when this guy now, the guy who just left me the message, when he came back, he heard that everybody else had gotten paid. So he started asking me now, so how come I didn't get paid? And I said, you didn't get paid because you're not there. You're supposed to sign for your monies, because tomorrow we don't want a situation where you start saying, oh, you didn't pay me and we don't have any evidence. So you had to sign for it, but you were not there the whole day today. So he started going on about, yeah, you see, I do everything for you. I do this for you. And I said, okay, first of all, you are making threats. You're going to go to the police. You're going to do something to me. I will regret it, and so on and so forth. We had discussions about these salaries, and we all agreed that you had to perform for you to get paid. So in the past 5 months, you were paid on time. Were you not paid on time? He said, yes, I was paid on time. Were you not given food? Yes, we were given food. Is there anything else you want to complain about me? And by the way, I have those recordings too. Is there anything that you can say, you know what? The way you treated me in this manner and this manner and this manner was so bad. That is why I ended up saying this. So I asked him, I said, have I ever done anything that you can say I deserve what you say today? He said, no. So I said, okay, so what pushes you, or what pushed you to an extent to talk to me in this manner? He had no answer. So I just said this in a nice way. I said, listen, this is my farm. I cannot continue working under threat and feel like you are now running my life, controlling my life, because if this thing happens, if you're not happy with this, you're going to do something to me, or you're going to go to the police. We don't work like that. So I'm sorry. You need to let me know how much I owe you, and I'll tell my father-in-law to give you all the money that you're owed, and it's bye-bye. So at that point, I could hear his voice, his voice lowered, and now his head was tilted sideways. And I guess at that point he was regretting why he said what he said. But it was too late, because I let him off on so many things. My trees, as a grown man, he could not even say to me, hey, we're watering your trees 3 times a week, but you know what? Some of them are dying. He couldn't even tell me that. So he was there on borrowed time anyways. So it was good riddance. So he left. So remember, my friend had his young brother working as the guard. So I speak to now my friend. I was like, okay, is everything else okay? Are these guys not happy about something? Let me know, if they're saying something to you. Says, no. These guys are happy. They are really, really happy working here. Everything is all good. I said, okay, that's fine then. So is the guard happy? He says, yeah. My young brother is happy. So I said, okay. That night, I'm looking at the cameras because with the infrared, I can see that there is people walking, even though it's dark. I'm not seeing any movements at the. I'm like, this is strange. I start calling the guard. Can't get through to the guard. So now I'm confused. Why can't I get through to the guard? I tried to call him. I can't get through. I raised the alarm. No response. And then in the morning now, I see someone walking through the gate. He starts packing things. I can see his bag is put outside. He's packing. I see another bag being put outside. And I was thinking, maybe he just wants to clean up. I tried to call him on the thing, on the cameras. He's not responding. So he just carries his bags, and I could see him going out. Tried to call him, his phone was off, and that was it. After about 3 hours, I see a text message saying, I got another job, so I won't be coming back. So I called my friend and I said, hey, yesterday when I spoke to you, you said your brother was okay, with working, everything was fine. And he says, yeah, everything is fine. What's the problem? And I said, well, he's just sent me this text message. It was like drama unfolding. So this guy is left now. The guard is left, and I had to quickly get a few guys to take care of the chickens. And the good news out of this is, as we speak right now, the chickens are fully recovered and they're looking very, very healthy. I mean, I can see them on the camera. I was even sent some videos. They're looking very, very healthy. And these are simple things that could have been done, which don't even take, time, So why am I telling you this story? I'm not telling you to feel sorry for me, or I'm not telling you to feel a certain way towards me. No, I'm telling you this because in all of this, I blame myself. Look at the type of workers that I have. Could I even do this with batches of 5,000, 10,000 chickens? No, I would make a serious loss. So I'm glad that at least I tried this, but my strategy moving forward is now different. It's now totally different. I now have to decide whether I want to continue this as a hobby or I want to go into real farming. But when you hear me talk about real farming, I'm going to be talking about serious farming, not like what we are seeing from on YouTube. You know, someone does a back garden of a few things and then we say that's farming. No. My farming that I'm going to be focusing on is going to be strategic partnerships where it involves investors. So even at Ruwa Organic, I mean, I haven't decided yet, but if I'm going to go into broilers, I am going to have strategic partners, investors. We go in there and we have proper structures. We have a proper business model with proper management, qualified workers, managers, the whole thing. And then we go at it as a professional thing. I won't even be there to suggest that, hey, you know what, you need to do this there, because I'm not a real farmer. So we'll be employing experts in all of this. So that's going to be the strategy moving forward. Strategic partnerships, that is the only way that I can see that can work. Otherwise, I'm going to be frustrated. I'm going to be spending so much money and yeah, it's going to be a mess. So that's where I am. If you want to invest back home in Zimbabwe, like real investment, we have an investments vehicle here called kumushainvestors.com. This is where investors get access to trusted opportunities which have a lot of accountability, where we have investors represented by some committee members, where money is accounted for because there's going to be signatories at the bank. So when we're done creating this, it's going to be a safe environment to invest. A lot of us have lost money because we try to go at it by ourselves, me included. I'm trying to do self-on farming. Sometimes I'm there on the ground. It's just a mess. And no wonder why it's not working, because it's lacking professionalism. It's lacking the right people. You know, sometimes I get people in the comments saying, you need to be there on the ground. Let me tell you something. I've been there on the ground 2 years continuous. Nothing came out of it. You know why? Because even if I'm there, let me give you an example. Let's say someone is mixing cement and he decides to put half a bag of cement in his proportions. What can I say to that? I'm there on the ground. I'm watching. What can I say? Absolutely nothing. You know why? Because I'm not a builder. Maybe where there's supposed to be one bag being poured into that pile, he's doing half a bag. So tomorrow I wake up, then the wall falls. But I'm there on the ground. So this idea of you have to be there on the ground. Yes, to be there while your project is there. Yes, that's fine. But to be there just for the sake of being there, it doesn't work. You have to be there knowing what needs to be done. Then it makes sense. So it's a bit of a challenge, because when we say, you have to be there, does that deter anything? Absolutely not. So in my case, I'm going to continue doing my chickens in small batches, but I'm not going to be calling it a business. It's not. It's like a hobby. These are not numbers which we can qualify as a business. Yes, I'll have enough money to, buy a few things here, a few things here and there. Maybe in my retirement as passive income or as income, as a form of income, yeah, that could work. But if I really want to make it a business, it has to follow a proper business structure, a team, management, proper business systems in place. Then I can call it a business. But as we speak right now, it's not a business. So when I look back, I've learned a lot. And I'm at peace with what has been going on. I'm at peace because for the most part, I'm the one to blame here. I'm expecting a lot from rubbish ingredients. I'm expecting wonders, and yet the ingredients are wrong. As I mentioned before, the way I'm looking for the workers, the way I'm running the business, all these things point to disaster. All of them, they point into disaster. So moving forward, as I mentioned, it's all about strategic partnerships if I want to go big. That way, I know I'm dealing with professionals who are qualified to do what they need to do. And if I'm going to continue on with these small batches, yes, I may do it, but I'll have veterinary guys who can advise me, so we can do it on a very small scale. But even in advertising, this cannot be qualified as a business. The reason why I'm saying this is because I don't want you guys to be inspired by small projects and then we trying to make it seem like they are very big projects. No. If you're going big, we're going big, but it has to be with qualified people. But if we're going small, at the same time, let's understand that It's a small project. It's almost like a hobby. And if it's working, yeah, good. But we need to separate the two. Real farming requires a lot of money. It's capital intensive. And we need to know this right from the get-go, because even if you think you're going to put in 100,000 or 150,000, it's nothing. I mean, I've spent tens of thousands, but what's there to say, oh, that's what the money was used for? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Anyway, I know this video is a bit too long. I thought I would cover quite a few things, but I'm in a good place. I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I'm just sharing my story, and this is where I'm at. But it's looking good. At least now I know, and I've learned a lot in all of this. A lot of lessons learned. A lot of lessons learned. And even going into Kumusha Investors, there's a lot of things that I've learned. A lot. So they're going to be applied in how we're going to be applying this investment vehicle. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to share and subscribe. Until next time, see you soon.